Hey folks, we've been talking about the character trait of self-control during the month of July. I'd like to take kind of a parenthetical thought here today to kind of squeeze something in that has a lot to do with not just self-control but really all the character traits that we've been talking about. Just recently we had several different families at our home, several young adults from 14, 15 up to about 26. And we were gathered around the meal table one night, and as is our custom, I had several questions to ask all the kids just to engage in some general conversation. And the question this night was, what are some things that you believe homeschool parents need to know? It had some great conversation, some great insight, but the thing that I heard the most is so many parents are so busy isolating their children, they're not preparing them for when they leave the house. One young man said that they've had friends where their parents have kept them very isolated, trying to keep them pure, and they get to that magic age of graduation or 18 or 19 and say, well, we've done our job, now you can go out and go on your own. And they're not prepared for that. They've never had to engage cultural temptations before, and some have paid a big price for doing that. Sometimes we as parents, we don't want to awaken love before it's time. We don't want to open a door prematurely. And I get that. I think it's very wise. The Gospels talk about a good steward giving the proper food at the proper time. We don't want to give a 5-year-old the same thing we give a 15-year-old, in other words. But we also have to understand, just as we can be too early to the party, we can be too late to the party as well. I know of more than one homeschooling family that didn't want to have the talk with their teenage children, so they put it off, trying to wait for an appropriate time where they could talk about it and not awaken love. Well, unfortunately, it was too late. Their kids were already fornicating. And the same thing is true with pornography. And yes, I hate to talk about these things too soon to our kids, but also it's even worse if we are too late. I think sometimes we parents, we can be motivated by fear more than faith. If we talk about things too soon, we might open up to temptations. And again, I get that, but again, there's also the backside of going too late. Maybe we are insecure. Maybe we don't feel comfortable talking about these things ourselves. Perhaps we don't think our Bible knowledge is sufficient. I get that too. But I would suggest to you, it's important to make the effort. The thing that I hear from young people more than anything else is they just want authenticity. Even if you don't know how you're going to progress, if you can get the conversation started, that will help them over the long haul. I like to close with an illustration. You know, sometimes we parents just are a one-pony parent. We just maybe hit one or two subjects and leave all the others out there. Would you rather fly with a pilot who's only landed on one airstrip his entire life? Or would you rather ride with a pilot who's been to 40 or 50 different airports? Probably the latter, because he's had experience. He knows how to approach any runway, not just one runway. And I think it's true also with our children as well. We want to breach these subjects in a safe place where the kids can ask honest questions and have a good, holistic, biblical look at things. Statistics say that whoever kids hear the information about a subject from the first time, that tends to solidify their perspective on that subject. And so parents, that needs to be us. And we want to teach our kids not just how to land on one airport, one airstrip. We want to engage them in many different areas because it's not so much the particular destination we're worried about, it's the process to get to that destination, if that makes sense. And if they can learn to do that in many different ways, it will help them make the transition as they make their own decision once they leave the house. Hope this makes sense. Hope it will be a blessing to you. Sometimes it's better early than late. This is Kirk Smith with ICHE's Take 5.